So thank you for taking the time to be here to discuss this very important issue of how do we get more women to scale their enterprises. With that, I'll hand over back to Soumya and Rameshji from GAME to tell us a little bit to take the proceedings forward.
Thanks, Pooja. Thanks for setting that context. Mr. Ashok Mittal, would you like to go?
Yeah, hi. Good morning, everyone, and thanks a lot for having me here. I am Ashok, and I represent a company called Prest Loans, while the legal entity name is Lord Krishna Financial Services Limited. We are a Delhi-based NBFC company. We operate in Delhi NCR, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Uttar Pradesh. These are the states we largely cover. We do MSME loans, both secured, unsecured, all kind of loans. We started in 2017, so it is just in Feb we completed 7 years. We had that from IFMR, which is Northern Arc now, Mass Finance, InCred, etc. AU. We have co-lending VC relationship with companies like Bajaj Finance, Euro Capital, Roha Housing Finance, etc. And we have, I think, around 10, 12 lending partners with us, where we do co-lending and all. Around 41 branches we have in these states, around 200 plus team size. We use tech a lot on the back end in terms of assessing. We have developed credit analyst score called Prest score, which is similar to credit bureau. We in fact give lot of weightage to non-financial parameters. So we consider, say, two parameters, which is one is personal information and second is social information, which we capture. And credit bureau score weightage is just around 25%. Like other two people said, similar to that, we have around 20-23% direct women as borrowers, where they are the first applicant. Their income is considered. They are some kind of entrepreneurs, MSMEs. But in all other loans, almost 90% of loans where women is participant. Whatever has been mentioned by Sabya and others is additional factor which we have observed while going in meeting. Women has a significant and active role in the business being run, in the decision-making process, whether loan to be taken, not to be taken. We have observed many cases where women is not ready to give collateral because they have got their house and they are emotionally attached. They say, I will not give my house as collateral, etc. So, I mean, they have a very active role in terms of taking decisions with reference to credit. They want to know what is the loan amount, loan tenure, rate of interest, etc. So, it is not that they are just signing, but they actively, I will say, participate in the entire loan process with us. From activity perspective, we have seen little more active participation from, let's say, if I have to rate it, highest from Gujarat, then from MP, and then from Rajasthan in terms of processing of these loans. We do small ticket loans, which are, let's say, in the range of 5 lakh to 20 lakh rupees value, depending on the collateral as well as what kind of income they are generating, including the income from alternate sources. In credit score, we consider the facts like vintage of residence, vintage of business, age of the borrower, number of kids they have got, what kind of education the male member has, what kind of education female has. And we do observe that educated spouse, whether male or female, is little more concerned, sensitive to the loan repayments. They understand the value of loan repayment, the weightage we give to children education, what kind of education they have. So all those, I will say, small parameters, what kind of house, what kind of road, what kind of size of the house, size of the road. So there are around 200 parameters which we directly, indirectly capture, either by way of authentication of the documents or by observation by the credit team. So whatever data we can capture. This is not really an entirely digital journey because we service to tier 3, tier 4 towns. So we do not have any presence in metros. Rather, I will say we represent in tier 3, tier 4 towns. So that is what broadly we do. Although all three of us might be into similar kind of segment, but we are into different geography, different ticket size, perhaps, and serving this kind of people. So general feeling which people have that no woman is not getting credit and all, we are perhaps not agreeing to that. Our sense is they are there, they understand this, they are very price sensitive, they understand pricing, and they are very active. Of course, the reach of, I will say, lenders or investors is largely maybe limited to larger cities. So they kind of, like Rameshji said, consider only those points. They perhaps not gone to smaller towns to understand the very active role which women has in the business as well as in the process of any kind of funding, whether equity or debt. So that is what we do, and we have not differentiated anywhere in terms of pricing or eligibility criteria with reference to any gender. So I will say we don't really discriminate whether it's a woman, man. Of course, they might have some questions which are additionally related to women entrepreneurs in terms of stability, etc. But otherwise, there is no differentiation. So, and we'll be happy to have more women entrepreneurs being there where we can contribute or support to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashok. It's very, very good to know. And again, just challenging the perception that women are not taking credit or don't want to take credit. I think that's what we wanted to also understand from you, like what has been your in-person experience, and that's already proving to be very helpful to us. Analyze?
In fact, what I wanted to say, all the responses which are written by different people are the same responses.
Yeah.
I guess. So the same segment, smaller towns, micro, assessed income. These people will not have any, like most of these people, most will not have any banking, GST or ITR. So it is assessed income. It is a family income which is kind of assessed. And that is where you, in a way, if you have to really differentiate women entrepreneurs and borrowers, it will be two categories. One is which we are right now describing. Other one is maybe in metros or tier one towns, let's say top 20, 30 towns in the country where women is independent entrepreneurs, right? So the business which we do in daily NCR is where you have a lot of women running their own, you can say shops or some kind of business, which may be garments or some kind of manufacturing unit or some kind of a shop. So those are independent works which they are doing, and they are not really, they're very different from a joint family system. So that is a different category of people which we do, but there is still a very smaller portion of our business.
So the best performing portfolio is actually NTC. Then the next best performing portfolio is people with civil score of 750 and above.
So there are a lot of thoughts about it, but I will say now, if we go by data within NTC, I think there are some kind of scoring being done by bureau agencies where they score like 100, 150, 160, something like that. So, which is not really from credit, but based on some kind of behavior, they give that score. And some lenders use that score. Of course, we are not using that score, but so there is a method where people can arrive at those scores and do it. But like he said, we have not seen a big difference, I will say, in NTC client or client with a credit history, because in fact, you have to see if somebody has a credit score of, say, for example, 650 or so, and he would have just taken maybe a very small loan of maybe 5,000 rupees prepaid on time. So I will say you can't really go by that. As I said, in our scoring method, we give just about 25% weightage to the credit bureau score. So of course it is helpful, but I will not say it is just a straightforward way you can decide your underwriting based on the credit score. So that's not, I think no lender is doing that in today's world. It was a very old system when people were giving very high weightage to the credit bureau score.
So when you say retail, you mean more of shop businesses and kirana stores, etc.
Yes.
Retail means grocery, cloth merchant, leather, right?
Ladies tailors.
Right.
Then,
it's very all of us, 3, 4, 5 people who are here, you will find that in none of our conversation there is a differentiation between a male or a female borrower, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's not being seen somewhere, and somebody saying that woman is not getting a loan, or I will say funds, or maybe equity funding, etc. In the beginning, Pooja said that she's an entrepreneur, she has raised a lot of funding. So I guess this is perhaps being created that woman is not being, supported from financial inclusion. But I guess all of us are witness that there has never ever been or no discrimination with reference to gender. Rather, like Mr. Sabyasachi said, we prefer there is a woman on the loan, whether she is a primary borrower or a secondary borrower. We do look at whether she is generating income or she is part of the business or not, and that is preferred rather, right? So I think our understanding is a woman borrower is a better borrower in terms of repayment, understanding, sensitivity to the pricing, sensitivity to the loan, sensitivity that whether a collateral is being given or not. So we have not really seen a much difference whether the borrower is a male or female. So is the ticket size. I think loan ticket size is being decided based on income assessment, or in case of secured loan, to some extent, some weight is given to the collateral. But ultimately, it is on the repayment capacity of the borrower, which is the driving factor.
The only point I'd make there, Ashokji, is while individuals and individual organizations don't discriminate, I think there is kind of very deep, there are systemic conditioning and barriers and biases that come into play. We don't discriminate, but systemically there are still challenges which hold women back. And so it's actually very heartening to see that there is, a positive thinking and there is an active thinking on organizations like yours to say, look, we want to create a very level playing field.
What I'm saying, Pooja, is, and which I witnessed, it's a right example you gave. In fact, another example, I have one of the largest private sector bank in India.
Yeah.
And my daughter, who was unmarried, she was earning very well. She applied for a home loan.
Yeah.
They did not give her loan.
Yeah.
This discrimination is perhaps at some larger organization where somebody sitting on the risk is saying that she's a chartered accountant working with EY. They forcefully took me as a guarantor. I said, why? Because but nobody agrees, right?
Yes.
So my sense is that the traditional bankers with a lot of conservative mindset, and their risk head would be maybe 60 years old, 55 years old guy, very traditional banker. He will say, nahi, to an unmarried woman, you cannot give the loan, which was a 100-year-old story perhaps.
Right.
But you are talking to NBFCs. NBFCs are going by data. NBFCs are going by history. NBFCs are looking at the track record. They are a little more dynamic, open to the approach. That is why you are seeing this response here from most of us.
Agreed.
Right. So I think this experience, which when you do survey, and as I said in the beginning, most of the organizations, and maybe with due respect, maybe you guys also, if you take this view from large banks, PSU, private banks, then you will find this approach. Okay. Now, on a practical side, let us say people will not say this, which I'm going to say perhaps. It's a little open discussion. Now, if a woman is, I will think this way, is 21 to 25 years of age, let's say, they will say, okay, she's stable. It will take some time for her to get married, because the first change comes when she's getting married, right? So we don't know where she will relocate, etc. So if there is a gap of say 3, 4, 5 years, they will say, okay, it is still, there is a time to get her married and it is fine. Or second stage is when she's well settled, marries, have kids are little old, so there's no risk of she taking longer leave, etc. from her job or work, maybe that. So in between, this is a period of maybe 25 to 30 years of age where the lenders might feel there is a risk. But we have seen that at least risk people need to look at it. We have seen that till I will say last day or almost every day, woman is active in her work, right? A lot of things are not really that much physical, which they were doing earlier. There is a lot of work which can be done digitally, can be done on the call, can be done on the laptop, mobile and phone, through the apps. So the world has changed, and that has to get adopted by, I will use the word larger lenders.
Yeah.
By PSU banks, by large private sector banks, because that is where the risk perception has not changed.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like us, we are talking with the 5 people. I think we are, if you see, our views are similar. We are competitor in a way, but our views are similar, because that is what the reality is. People have accepted that it's good to have a woman as a entrepreneur. It's good to have women as a borrower, and their track record has proven that they are good. They are better business people and better borrowers. So I mean, sorry, but this is how you will see a different opinion here, I guess.
Absolutely.
Ashok ji, आपको कुछ बोलना था? You were saying something.
No, I was talking when I think Arjun had some network issues, so I was trying to answer that. So the point was same that a woman has active participation in smaller towns by virtue of the fabric of the family, where if they have any agriculture base and dairy, these are the two activities where the woman is invariably involved in the business in whatever way and style it is. Hence, that acceptability level of she being there in the financial transaction is extremely high. So, in smaller places, whether woman is running any entrepreneurship independently, I think that is quite less, because in smaller towns, the family fabric or structure of business is so that they are a joint family staying together, joint business doing together. So that is how it is. So you will not perhaps find very less, maybe no, in tier 3, 4, 5 smaller towns where women is independently doing something. That will be, I think, very less.
So I'm assuming that the ratio of getting applications for individual loans is very low. Like you don't.
Yes, but in if I say Delhi NCR an example,
In tier 1, tier 2, yes.
This would be higher. This may be, I think we have around 28-30% women who are independently running some business and their husband is doing some other business or working or job.
So in that case, do you lend individually to the women, or in that case also would you?
Yes, we have done loans to individual women. Okay. Yes, of course.
On this specifically, I think I don't know who answered yes.
But I don't know. Some questions got here and there, so I have not got this question. I can't.
Are there any specific measures that are being taken in your experience through either your NBFC or other NBFCs that you've seen that are, more specifically reaching out to women entrepreneurs or women professionals?
To be honest, I will answer this way that we do this every year on Women's Day, and we say okay, no processing fees, etc.
Right.
But to be honest, that doesn't work. Frankly, if you give some offer for 2 days or 3 days or 1 day, it doesn't work that way because your loan processing is a continuous process.
Right.
So we try to do something and say, but practically, I think it's a larger part of the whole thing, and you keep doing it on a regular basis because you are not really differentiating. So,
are there any specific parameters that you are measuring that are generally not measured by traditional banks when they're assessing the risk for lending towards this segment?
Yes, at least from my side, I can share with you the Prest score parameters. Maybe some of them.
That would be great, actually.
Proprietary thing, but maybe in some way I can share with you. For example, I said we look at let us say what is the size of family. Okay, we look at what is the education of borrower and co-borrower, means spouse. We look at how many children. We look at how the children are studying, whether they are studying in private school or government school. We look at their education, graduate, undergraduate, postgraduate, metric, below metric, or uneducated, etc. So we give a lot of weightage to some of those parameters. So happy to share separately with you in terms of to understand what are the non-financial parameters we look at.
Thank you so much for joining the time.
Yeah,
thank you.
Tuesday morning.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much.